Greetings, greetings, greetings. This is your brother Chief Flying Eagle, aka Lord American. My goal and my purpose is to create unity, the unification of all the children of the Americas. I'm going to continuously prove to you that colonization is all in the mind. It's a mental construct that was created by a system of colonizers. It's all systematic. And once more, I'm going to prove to you that birthright citizenship has nothing to do with Donald Trump stating that so called Black people who are labeled or who has been coined descendants of the children of slaves. The statement that he made about the birthright citizenship has nothing to do with him saying that my people, and I called you my people because you are, you know what I mean? Feel whichever way you want to about me. But you are my brothers and you're my sister. I'm going to prove to you once again, it has nothing to do with him talking about or stating that you are the original people of the land. What he definitely said was, you are the descendants of slaves. And he said it 3 times for confirmation. You just did an oral contract. You just acquiesced to an oral contract to be slaves of the Americas when we were not slaves. That's number one. Furthermore, I'm going to prove to you in this video that this whole immigration thing, birthright citizenship, has nothing to do with illegal aliens or even people from the Caribbean being illegal in the United States. It's all about jurisdiction, ownership, subjugation, and being subjects of the foreign corporation, which, by the way, still belongs to Great Britain. Now, I'm going to use the United Kingdom as the first example. All these countries that I'm going to mention in this video, they are all in the Caribbean. All right. We have the Cayman Islands in the Caribbean, the British Virgin Islands in the Caribbean, Anguilla in the Caribbean, Montserrat in the Caribbean, Turks and Caicos in the Caribbean. But yet still, guess what? They are British citizens. They have the same status as the people in Great Britain, but they are in the Caribbean. So once more, let me ask you once again, is it about illegal aliens? Because the last time I checked, the Caribbean is not in England. Let us further continue. More examples. Guadeloupe, Martinique, Bartholomew, St. Martin. Guess what? All in the Caribbean, but the people in those countries, they are French. Because why? They belong to France. They are still colonized by France. So how is that these countries in the Caribbean, the people are still French, but they're in the Caribbean? They have the same rights as the people in France. I'm not done. Let us go to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The Kingdom of the Netherlands, all these countries are in the Caribbean. Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin, because St. Martin is divided between the French and the Dutch. Two foreign entities. They both control one island. They split it in half, the French and the Dutch side. Guess what? Those islands are in the Caribbean, but they have the same rights as the people in the Kingdom of the Netherlands. So once again, let me ask you a question. What does that mean? Hmm? You see, people don't get what colonization really means. They don't realize what war means. Because you could move around, it don't mean you're not at war. But finally, let me put the nail in the coffin. St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John's, guess what? They are all United States territories. Where are they? St. Thomas, St. John's, St. Croix. They have all the same rights that United States citizens have. Okay? And I'm talking about the so-called descendants of slaves, so-called Black people. that are making all the claims that people from the islands are the ones that don't belong or they're immigrants. Are they really immigrants in the United States when they're actually Americans? And once again, how is that St. Thomas in the Caribbean, St. John's in the Caribbean, St. Croix in the Caribbean, but they have the same status that you have? They cannot be deported, but they are actually in the Caribbean. Let it make sense. Understanding of what things mean, that's what happens. You feel me? That's what happens. You see, this is all about divide and conquer. That's what it's about. The birthright citizenship has nothing to do with illegal aliens. It has nothing to do with Trump talking about so-called black people that are descendants of slaves in the United States are the original people. It has nothing to do with that, because the people in the Caribbean, St. John's, St. Croix, and St. Thomas, they have the same rights that you have as so-called black people that are descendants of slaves in the United States. Let it make sense. Bottom line is this, my people. This has nothing to do with none of the above. This is about jurisdiction. It's about subjugation, and it's about control. It's about money. And what you don't realize is this: we are at war. They're creating division. That's what they are doing. So my question to you is this: what's the difference between those in St. Thomas, St. John, St. Croix, and those from Jamaica or Haiti or St. Lucia or Grenada or Barbados? What's the difference between them when they're on the Caribbean? Guess what? Jurisdiction, jurisdictional territory. It is really that simple. Open up your mind, my people. See things for what they are. Let go of the emotions that you are harboring because you think you know what you're talking about. Okay, we were never slaves. We were prisoners of war, indeed, but we were not slaves. The slaves who came here through Ellis Island, 12.5 million of them. Those were the slaves. All right, and they changed the dates. They altered the dates with the Gregorian calendar. It happened way before what they told you. When we came from Africa, that was the time those Slavs came, and they switched it up, make us think it was about us. The same way they're making our people think that birthright citizenship is about them. No, those are for the Slavs. That ain't got nothing to do with us. But because they know we are the original people of the land, and we are the only ones that could create law, they have to use us to establish the law, make us the face of the product. But we are not the beneficiaries of the product. One of these days, y'all will give me my flowers. One of these days, y'all will give me the respect. One of these days, y'all will acknowledge the work that I've put in for so long, and I've always been telling the truth and always been on point. Just one of these days, you will take your prejudice and whatever some of you have against me because you think I was born in the islands, you're going to realize that this man was one of the only ones, if not the only one, telling the absolute truth about everything. You dig? This is about our blood right as Americans. And I'm talking about Americans as in all the children of the Americas. And if we continue to isolate ourselves and think it's something different, you're going to wake up to a rude awakening. I hear a lot of people talking about descendants of slaves in the United States cannot be deported. You're absolutely correct. You cannot be deported, but I guarantee you, jails are going to be a big business once more. Because since they cannot deport you from the United States because we are the original people, not because we came from Africa, because we are the original people. I love you. That's why I'm telling you the truth. You are not descendants of slaves from Africa, but we are the original people. But because they cannot deport you from anywhere, they could subjugate you because you already are subjects of the corporation, and they're going to open up some more jails, which is a big business. You dig? And that's exactly what's going to happen. There's a reason why they criminalize all our children before they reach the age of 14. They want to make sure they have a criminal record. You feel me? Because that's the only way to make slavery lawful and legal. But like I said, one of these days, man, I'll get the respect. One of these days, I'll get the flowers. For all those of you who see it for what it is, thank you for seeing and getting the message. I guess the others will catch up. once in a while. So yes, you may not be able to get deported, but I promise you, they're going to find some way to contain you. And how is that going to happen? In jails and in facilities where you're going to be contained. That's what they're planning. But like I said, I've always been ahead of my time. Just watch everything I talk about manifest, because you're walking into this blindly. And that's what's going on. This is your brother, Chief Flying Eagle. Think about what I just said about St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John's. They have the same rights that you have, but yet still they are actually in the Caribbean. Let it make sense. So you tell me if this is really about illegal aliens or birthright citizenship. You tell me that, because those people in the Caribbean, right there in those countries that I mentioned, they have all the rights that you have. Peace.